Hey, yo, welcome in to CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. It is the best day of the week. TGIF to everybody out there, and mainly TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, because, Cody, we have so much college football coming our way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm already a winner today, Sean.
Mercy.
I'm already a winner. It feels good to be 2-0 before 3 p.m. today. And I'm just going to throw it out there right now. I'm taking the under on Toledo and UAB starting at 4 p.m. But that...
I'm sorry, what? Sorry, that just didn't...
I'm taking the
under. It's not a normal sentence you say to somebody, Cody. You gotta go take it slow to me.
We got 4 p.m. college basketball, UAB and Toledo facing off against each other. I'm taking the under 157.5 between those two schools. And then we got some Friday night lights tonight, and then the whole slate tomorrow for college football. Will probably be some college basketball as well. It's a beautiful thing, Sean. We're like, everyone says March is like the best time for sports. But I'm starting to think that like
non-conference men's basketball in November
I'm starting to think that like October and November are the best months for sports. I love March. I love March, but man, like we're just so blessed to be able to just have so many options. Like I'm not even betting anything on the NBA tonight, and it's like, well, there's so many games.
I bet on the NHL last night. I ended up cashing it out, but it felt good that I cashed it out and had the right reason to, because I thought it was going to go into overtime. But then my degenerate brain said, oh, I should have bet that it was going to go into overtime. Anyways, what's up, Jack R? Bless your degenerate heart as well. You're always in here hanging out with us. And he said IU basketball's dominating. But for how long, Jack? And can they dominate the Big Ten? I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me live. You can follow me live. You can follow me on Twitter for however long that lasts at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow Cody on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. This is our college football locks. I don't want to talk about my bank, Cody. We were really on the weather, really wrecking havoc in that game, and it was a little overblown. The under of the normal game hit of 41.5 because the total
Barely.
was 40. Right, and on a field goal that they just didn't
shout out
kick.
to all those
run backwards. Right. And I mean, like Marcus Mariota having that one drive where he just marches down the field with like 3 20-yard passes. You kidding me? Like you couldn't do that any other part of the game.
He looked so bad. Like he made some ill-advised throws that like there was one where he was literally falling to the ground and he just flung it and it was intercepted, but it got called back because he was down. Like I don't know. Like I feel like he's kind of resurrected his career a little bit. Like, but like last night was a bad game for him. Like
we trusted Cordero Patterson in the backfield. I mean, what's going on?
Should have trusted Donta Foreman more. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we took the over. I mean, we just needed to take the under of Cordero, and we would have been winners.
The game was disgusting. It was the worst Thursday night football game of the year. It was even worse than Bears Commanders because at least I had rooting interest in that game. Like, it was a disgusting game. Anyone who actually watched it, shout out to you. Kudos for hanging around. Like I feel like the only people who actually watched that game were Falcons and Panthers fans, and then just degenerates like me and Sean.
Well, I mean, we were also watching. I was watching on the Gamecast the Eastern Carolina and Western Kentucky, or not the Eastern Carolina. I'm thinking of later. My mind's already on these Friday night football games. The Eastern Kentucky. I'm so sorry. The Eastern Kentucky of the ASUN taking on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers of the CUSA, and we were on the over of 157.5. And
I wish I just taken the spread. I should have taken the spread and then maybe live bet Western Kentucky at halftime. They're down like 9 points at halftime as 8.5-point favorites. Should have live bet them at halftime. Just whatever. It made sense. It made sense why to take the over.
It made sense, but I hope it also makes sense that I'm never trusting you again. I'm not listening to your picks ever again. You've already lost my trust in November on college basketball. I mean, we're
just starting, baby. We're just starting. Shout out to Detroit Mercy and Boston College. It was Detroit Mercy covered the 9. Nice. They almost won outright. It was at plus 370 to win outright, and then The under 139.5 opened at 141.5. Wouldn't have been as much of a sweat at the very end if I got it then, but it did look like it was en route to go over with the first 10 to 12 minutes played in the second half. And then both teams just started turning the ball over and bricking shots and missing free throws. And it was just a beautiful thing. It really was just a beautiful thing.
And I'm happy for you, man. And
you.
I hope you got a good workout in while you watched the Detroit Mercy game as you were begging your girl for the ESPN Plus.
I was on the bike just sweating it out, dude. I was sweating because I was working out and sweating because that under.
Cody, that poor girl, if you ever, tie the knot or anything, that Saturday or whatever, I mean, she's going to need to have it on Friday because she's only going to have to worry about 2 football games. You know what I'm saying? Like, she can't worry about you on a college football Saturday trying to get married because, she's still number 2.
If we ever get married, we're going to have to get married, like, not in the fall. There's like a long running joke on the internet about people getting married in the fall, not getting married in the fall because football. All right. Getting married in the spring or in the summer, like every other normal person. There you go.
April and May seems safe.
Yeah.
You might miss a nice day in the bleachers.
Yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that.
It's your wedding.
But I'm not going to take people away from their college football Saturdays or their NFL Sundays. I will not do it. No.
And you're a patriot for that one. All right. And if you want to be a patriot like us, bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you are looking to bet in the NFL, we have our NFL locks from yesterday, so check out that pod. But since DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, they have unbeatable offers for you. Right now, new customers can make any $5 NFL bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. I really do like the Vikings money line. That is pretty sweet. It's plus money still, and Josh Allen didn't practice too much today, so he might not play. So I do like the Vikings going into Buffalo. And again, make any $5 bet and you get $200 in free bets if your team wins. In addition to the usual bets like spreads, over-unders, and money lines, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. And to make things even sweeter, you can throw down stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. So you get one on Thursday, you get one on Sunday, and you get one on Monday. So you get to enjoy the rush of Thursday night football and 15 to 25 mile per hour winds and gusts up to 40 in the PJ Walker versus Marcus Mariota Bowl. But hey, you can make everything sweeter by winning money with DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code CHGO to get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And hey, come out to our tailgate on Sunday. We got a tailgate starting at 8:30 at Roosevelt in Michigan, just 15 minutes away from Soldier Field. You can check out the tickets at allchgo.com. You can bet on the Chicago team to beat the Detroit team, and Justin Fields will probably look really, really good doing it. So that's another thing. If you're just looking to be a new customer on DraftKings Sportsbook, sign up, bet the Bears. If they win, you get $200 in free bets to bet on the Bears.
I mean, I feel like that might be the safer bet because I still don't like this Vikings money line bet, man. Like I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
It's cashed out.
I don't really want to root for the Vikings because I don't like them, but like for your sake, I'll root for the Vikings this week for you and you only. That's it. I don't like it, even if Josh Allen doesn't play. I don't like it, but hey, I'll root for you.
We'll see.
But I mean, the Bears are playing the Lions at home. Like 2.5, 3-point favorites. I mean, if there's a time the Bears will actually win a game, it's this week. So.
Yeah. I mean, I like him on the spread too. I mean, Justin Fields is really good. I don't know if you guys know that. I do like the over too, which was Cody's play as well. The over. Let's hit the over. But let's jump in to these picks because I think Steven said I have 14, and I'm assuming you're not too far behind, or you have 14 or 15. And you're probably going to be adding like 20 tomorrow.
Sean, you have 14. Cody, you have 12. So just 26 bets.
Let's go.
I beat you.
That's fine. All
right.
I need, maybe I'm trying to cut back a little bit. That way I don't blow all my bank.
Well, it's fair. I love picking.
You're right. This slate is pretty good. I'm excited for tomorrow.
It's a tough one. I think like lines have been much easier. I liked last week a lot better. I feel a little iffy about this. I do just want to shout out Jack R before we get to your first six. Jack R saying Villanova -5 versus Temple. Hell yes. I got Villanova -5 versus Temple. That's the only college basketball you can talk me into, because you know what? Villanova is damn good, and they usually beat programs by 5 or more. So the fact that you can get that at that low, I'll take Villanova -5.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Wright's a great coach. I don't know too much about Villanova. I know Colin Gillespie finally graduated after like 10 years there, but yeah, it's not a bad play. I don't know if they're on a neutral court or anything though, but tonight I do like Gonzaga -11.5 against Michigan State, and it's largely because they pretty much have a lot of the same players from last year plus some key transfers, but Drew Timme is still there, and he's going to be in the running for College Player of the Year.
He's also 27.
Yeah, probably. He's been there forever, right? But I you know, they're on a neutral court, so whatever. But for some reason, I just think that team they're in a really great position to start the year more so than Michigan State. Michigan State, if they do anything, they always start getting their shit together in January, February, going into March. And right now, I don't like their team right now because you just don't know what you're going to get out of them. I know 11.5 is a lot of points, but Gonzaga can they can score some points. They can go on long runs. So yeah, that's the one college basketball play I like tonight is Gonzaga -5.5. Also, DraftKings Sportsbook has a great opt-in promo. You opt in, place $50 on the game on whoever, and you get a free bet back that's totaled up to whoever ends up being the leading scorer. So say Drew Timme puts up 25 points tonight, you'll get a free bet back. That's $25. So you have to place a $50 wager on the game though. So if you don't want to do that, I get it. But if you feel really good about Michigan State or you feel really good about Gonzaga, place the wager and you get a free bet back no matter what. So I would love for that free bet to be 50, but I don't think anyone's dropping 50 tonight in that game. But
mine's 75. Opt in and place $75 or more bets in Michigan State.
It's different for everyone. So it's a promo for everyone. Then maybe for some people it's more, some people it's less in terms of how much you have to place a wager on. But for me, it was placing 50. So
I shouldn't bet on that game. I'm not betting on that game, even though
I think it's the best game of the night as far as premier programs and stuff. But yeah, that's the one that I feel like most of America will be watching if anyone's watching college basketball.
I gotta watch college football. Jack R did correct you though. Jay Wright left last year. Well, last year was his last year coaching, so he's no longer the coach. It's now Kyle Neptune.
Jay Wright's not at Villanova anymore?
No, he's just not coaching.
Yeah, he retired.
Really?
Yeah, it was really surprising for everyone. The guy was nothing but.
Look how surprised he is right now.
Nothing else to accomplish.
I did not know this. Again, I haven't bet on Villanova since March, so I haven't been following. I have no idea what they've been doing. That's why I didn't think about touching the game. But I can't believe that. I can't believe he's not coaching the NBA now that he's not at Villanova. That's wild to me. Okay, well, whatever. Don't bet against Izzo, Jack R says. I've bet against Izzo many times, especially this time of year. Don't worry. I'm not worried.
Get in your college football.
Okay, East Carolina tonight, +4.5 against Cincinnati. All right, this is you know how I always say this, Sean. This is a you owe me bet. All right, Cincinnati screwed me 2 weeks ago when they were covering 3 points easily against SMU. They were up by 2 touchdowns, and what did they do? They let SMU come back, and what did Cincinnati do? They only won by 2 points. So this is a you owe me / hate bet. All right, and I'm betting East Carolina mainly because Cincinnati's 0-5 against the spread the last 5 games, and Eastern Carolina is playing well. They've been winning games. They've won 3 in a row. But I think the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me when I was in the lab was that Cincinnati, they really struggle on third downs. They rank 9th out of 11 teams in the American in red zone offense. And specifically on third down, they rank near the bottom. But East Carolina, they lead the American in third down conversions. So I think that time of possession is really going to be key in this game. But I think East Carolina can hold on the ball a little bit more, and maybe it's close at the end of the game. You give me 4.5, you're giving me a field goal plus another 1.5. yeah, I will take East Carolina tonight against Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, hold on. So I want to jump in on this because I'm rolling with you. I actually like East Carolina money line as well at plus 180. It's one of my picks. But I'm rolling. I'm going to be safe. I'm going on the spread at plus 4.5. I do think that if East Carolina loses, it's a field goal or less. Like this is going to be a tight game because mainly East Carolina super balanced. They can attack through the air or on the ground. And East Carolina's defense very good at stopping the run. They went into Provo and beat BYU on a Friday very recently. I think they're BYU, Cincinnati, very similar programs. They want to run. They want to establish their physical presence on the other team. But I really do think East Carolina can make them one-dimensional, and it's not Desmond Ridder back there anymore for Cincinnati. They don't have like that guy at quarterback who can go out them and win them a game. I do think that East Carolina can. If this game goes up to like 30 points, I don't think Cincinnati can score 30. I think East Carolina can score 30. If this is a game that's only played in the 20s and 20 wins it, then hey, maybe Cincinnati's defense is just that good and they've just been kind of coasting. But I really don't think that Cincinnati's defense is that good, and I don't think their offense is that good. I do think East Carolina's got a shot tonight. So give me a 4.5 point cushion. But if you want to roll on the money line plus 180, that's fun.
Yeah, as far as the other two games tonight, I don't have a pick on either two games tonight, though I guess I kind of lean the over on USC and Colorado just because USC can put up a ton of points and Colorado is like arguably the worst college football program out there. But 66.5, like I just don't know if Colorado will have fun because USC's defense, like against these bad programs, it's been pretty good, right? And they're trying to earn themselves into that Final Four of that college football playoff. And I don't know. I don't like I mean, the team total for USC on DraftKings Sportsbook is 50.5. Like they think USC is going to score all the points. And like they absolutely could. So I'm staying away. The spread's 30.
When I can't predict if the game's going to be 44-3 or 76-0 or,
right?
63-20, like I'm good. I just know it's going to be an ass kicking.
Right. So I don't really like the other two games, but if I were to bet the USC and Colorado game, I'd probably take the over. Anyway, as far as tomorrow, Arkansas, LSU. This is kind of I think this is a really good situational spot for Arkansas. They just got beat up by Liberty. They're going to be at home. They lost at home against Liberty. Now it's a big bounce back opportunity for them. And I know they lost to Liberty, and I know LSU just is coming off beating Alabama, but that's kind of why I like it, because LSU now has to refocus and go into Fayetteville and beat up an Arkansas team that is at least competitive. KJ Jefferson's solid dual threat quarterback. They have a really good run game. One of the things that LSU struggles against is the run. So ball control will be key in this one. And then of course, how I am with the trends. Sam Pittman is 12-6 against the spread as an underdog, and that includes 8-3 against the spread against top 20 teams with a perfect 6-0 mark, excluding games against Alabama and Georgia. Now, this doesn't say that I'm not a believer in LSU. I could definitely see LSU going into Fayetteville and winning outright. But you give me 3.5 points with the home dog here. I feel like the game's going to be close. So I think Arkansas hangs around, and they potentially could win outright. I'll sprinkle on the money line, but I like Arkansas plus 3.5 the most.
I just want to jump in because Jefferson's status is unclear. So I like LSU. I'm just not betting it. I do think that LSU. So that's probably going to win. Because whatever I know bet wins. But I just think that
if Jefferson isn't going to play, then don't bet Arkansas. But I'm surprised the spread's not higher if it's in doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I really think that LSU can't have any steps taken. And I was also listening to the Cover 3 podcast, and Bud Elliott mentioned that in Arkansas, it's moderate gun season opening up in on Saturday, and they usually don't like playing on this Saturday in Arkansas because the crowds are usually less. So how rocking is Fayetteville going to be? Because those guys got to go hunting. So I don't know about sprinkling the money line.
I've been to Fayetteville. That's a great college town, man. The student section at least will be rocking for this game, especially. Again, I think it's just a great situational spot for Arkansas, and LSU has to prove that last week wasn't just a fluke. Again, they were 13.5 point dogs against Alabama, but they were at home. under the lights. Like it was a great spot for them. Now, can they go into? Can they? Basically, it's kind of like how I talked about Tennessee those last few weeks after they beat Alabama. Can LSU do the same thing? Sure, I could definitely see it happening, but
Arkansas is in
give
Georgia,
me a field goal and a hook. Sure,
Yeah.
I'll ride with Arkansas.
Arkansas is in Georgia, and I just don't think that. Like, I think LSU can outscore them, and I don't really think that Arkansas can outscore them. I don't think Arkansas is going to like lock them down, either. Like, so
definitely not. I think there will be points. I mean, if you want to take the safe side, maybe the over is the play. But I've also seen LSU get like you've seen LSU in some defensive games as well. So I don't know. Like that's why I'm a little afraid of that. So anyway,
best of luck.
Thank you. The other game. I've done 3 games, so I'll do 2 more. Duke -9.5. Duke owes me. Virginia Tech sucks. Virginia Tech's offense sucks. If anything, if you don't like the 9.5, take the under. I think it's at 49.5 because Virginia Tech isn't going to score any points. But Duke, me and Sean, we talked about this game they had against, I think it was Boston College last week. Duke was up multiple touchdowns against them, against a shitty Boston College team, and then only won by 7, which then that means they did not cover because I think Sean got them at 9.5 and
you had them at 11.
I got them at 11.5, and they didn't cover against Boston College.
So why are they going to cover against Virginia Tech?
Because Virginia Tech is significantly worse.
No, they're not.
College. Yes,
Boston College had their backup quarterback and like all of their offensive
line.
Their
offense is so bad, Sean.
I'm staying away.
You literally told me last week about how Virginia Tech is awful and hadn't won a game since like September when the White Sox were 4 games back in the AL Central.
And they just blew a 27-16 lead against Georgia Tech. Like
Georgia Tech is a complete different team than Duke. They've been trending up the last like 3 weeks.
Right. And I'm just saying Virginia Tech was up 8 and then blew a lead. So like I'm just saying like they do suck.
Better. Duke is significantly better than Georgia Tech, man. But like
no, I'm saying, and I'm just saying Virginia Tech sucks because they just blew a lead to Georgia Tech.
Okay. I understand they put up points, but that was a very even matchup. That's all I'm saying. That was Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech was a definitely more even matchup. I think Duke is a much better team. They're bowl eligible. This is like they beat Miami, remember? And then I know again. They won last week. As much as it pains me that they didn't cover, they're just taking a lot of momentum into this game. And I think that can you rely on Virginia Tech to score any points against that team? I don't know. The only thing that kind of scares me is like Virginia Tech is good against the run, and like that's Duke's entire offense. That's the only thing that scares me. But like again, like can you trust Virginia Tech to score any points? Like I was surprised that Virginia Tech even had a lead against Georgia Tech, but at the same time. Right. Like I said, I think Duke is a much better team than Georgia Tech. So like that one's kind of like a wash for me in terms of like looking back at like what Virginia Tech has done. I don't know.
I'm not taking Duke after they broke. I'm not taking them after they broke my heart. So I get
salty. You. I understand. I'm salty. I understand. Lastly, before we move to what you got, Wisconsin money line going to Iowa City. Badgers have won 8 of the last 10 in this series. Wisconsin's defense, it's not Iowa level, but I don't think anyone's defense is Iowa level. But I like the Wisconsin run game. I know that Iowa's strength is stopping the run. The over-under for this game is 35.5. This is going to be ground. Like it's going to be 2 rocks running into each other. I think that's a lot of what we'll see. I will take Graham Mertz over Spencer Petras or whatever however you say his name. At +100. I don't know. It's a toss-up game, but if it's the Big Ten, I'm gonna at least follow the game. I like Wisconsin to win in Iowa City.
Yeah, I rode Iowa last week because they were playing in like 40-mile-per-hour winds against Purdue, and they look real good. But I don't know. Purdue doesn't have that good of a defense. Wisconsin does. I think you're on the right side. Just me, Well, it's +100. Where's the juice? Come on.
Iowa beat up on Northwestern.
Yeah,
and Northwestern is awful. They're awful, bad. Yeah. And then they beat Purdue, which maybe I had too much. Like maybe I overthought on Purdue, like thinking they were better than what they are. But
no, but I think if they played that game in a dome, I think Purdue would have kicked their ass. It's just Purdue couldn't throw the ball because of the weather.
Yeah. And then basically the same thing happened last week with Purdue because they went to Wisconsin and it was a freaking monsoon.
Right.
So Yeah, I think both teams are going to run the ball. The over under 35.5. Like, I'm not touching that. I could see it being the first team to 12 points for getting 4 field goals. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I could also see one of these teams' offense just kind of come out of nowhere and play better. I just think Graham Mertz is playing better than Spencer Petras, and I know the Iowa offense has played better since Ferentz stepped down and gave it to his son or whoever or whatever.
No. His Ferentz's son's been running the whole show. They've just played Northwestern and Purdue.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Really.
Beating Purdue is a little bit was very, I guess, a little bit more impressive. But like you said, you're probably right on. If that game was played in Dome, it could have gone differently. I was surprised to see that Aiden O'Connell and that passing attack didn't do literally anything at all.
The more we talk about it, honestly, Cody, I think I love moneyline plus 100, but since I'm such I need more of a juice, I might just take Wisconsin by a touchdown.
So it's just.
I think Iowa was that bad.
Spread.
I think Iowa was really that bad. Yeah, I got some alternate spreads here too. Let's jump into my first 7 because I'm ridiculous, an idiot. We already mentioned East Carolina plus 4.5 at minus 110. Pittsburgh minus 9.5 at plus 155. They're playing Virginia. This is a Pittsburgh team that has 5 wins. They are looking to become bowl eligible. And Virginia has not put up, I think, over 17 points against an ACC team. Pittsburgh has a good defense, and they have a very, 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 very great running back. So I'll take Pittsburgh minus 9.5 at plus 155. I just think they kick the shit out of Virginia. Liberty UConn over 45.5. I think that'd be 7 touchdowns, right? Yeah, I think 7 touchdowns are scored in that game at minus 110. I think you'll be able to see 49 in this game. UConn's offense isn't that bad, and Liberty was able to put up points against an SEC team with their 4th quarterback. So I think Liberty can easily put up 49 on their own. Oklahoma minus 6.5 at minus 130. I do think that the line right now is 7.5, and that just doesn't feel too comfortable with me. But I do think that Oklahoma easily wins this week. They are just such a better football team than the good old. I think they're playing. I just want to double check. They're not playing. They're playing West Virginia. I think Oklahoma's going to kick their ass the entire game, but I think West Virginia can backdoor cover. So I just want a touchdown is the reason why I don't like that line. And then James Madison team total over 27.5 at plus 105. I think they can easily score 4 touchdowns on Marshall. I think they're playing Marshall again. Let me just double check.
They are, I believe.
Yeah. They're playing Old Dominion. Old Dominion isn't that great. Well, yeah, Marshall's got a much better defense. But James Madison, when they weren't playing, Marshall has a great defense. Louisville, who has a really good defense, that's pretty underrated. And then when they didn't have when they've had their starting quarterback, they're basically 5-0. And then when they're not playing an SEC or when they're not playing an ACC school. So they've easily been able to put up in those first 5 games, 42, 40, 32, 63, 44. Old Dominion's kind of a step back to where they were playing earlier on in the season. So if he's fully healthy, I do think James Madison can score 4 touchdowns this Saturday. And then Western Kentucky, did you see their helmets?
Yes, I was watching a TikTok about it actually, and I was told that was why the guy was taking Western Kentucky. So
that's why I'm taking Western Kentucky. I'm taking Western Kentucky because of the
helmet game. Baby.
They're playing Rice, and Rice lost to Charlotte. So I think Western Kentucky, who just put up 73 points against Charlotte, can win by 2 touchdowns. So give me Western Kentucky minus 13.5. But let's get into the big one for this weekend. TCU. I have TCU plus 7.5 at minus 110. And you have TCU plus 7.5 minus 110. Why are we fading Joey's Longhorns?
Well, I mean, Texas is favored because they're at home, is my guess. But I am surprised to see
usually that's only 3. Yeah, it's only 3 points.
Yeah, am I missing something? Is there an injury? I don't know. That's why I like the over, and I like Bijan Robinson to just run wild like he has been all season. I just think we're going to have a lot of points. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a classic Big 12 game. If you don't feel good about Texas or TCU covering one of the two, I love the over especially. And I do love Bijan Robinson to just keep doing. I have bet his rushing total the last month, and it is hit every time. He had 160 rushing yards in the first half and it was like the line total at kickoff was like 116. I'm like, and this TCU defense isn't that good, and like maybe that's why Texas is such a big favorite, is because that TCU defense is sus, but so is Texas. I mean, Texas was beaten up on Kansas State last week, and they almost let them come back and beat them. Like,
Well,
you cannot trust Texas at the end of games, man. Like, that's why you're giving me a touchdown and a half point. Like, that's the big thing on why I'm taking TCU's, because, yeah, sure, Texas could get a lead, but I think TCU could definitely hang around. And if they are down, I could easily see them coming back. Absolutely.
do you know who's undefeated?
TCU, they haven't lost.
Do you know who's also undefeated? TCU in the second half.
Oh, okay.
TCU, if you've taken TCU to win the second half, you have won money each and every single game. They dominate the second half, and they consistently have comebacks. They consistently, when they get down, they're able to fight their way back. I think this is very similar to, I want to say, the Oklahoma State game, where Oklahoma State was going into Kansas State, and this is when they got their just absolute doors blown off, 49-0. I think the idea is that TCU has played in so many big games back to back to back to back to back to back, where there hasn't really been a break. You asked if there's any injuries. Pretty big one on TCU side. Quentin Johnson didn't play last week. They're saying that he will probably play, the top wide receiver for TCU, gonna be probably a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. But yeah, if he doesn't play, there's questions there, but it's saying, or most of the reports are saying, that he will play. And I just think that him, Max Duggan, and they got a pretty decent running back as well, can put up points late in this game. And the big thing too that shocked me about Kansas State, I don't know why they didn't start Will Howard. He's a better thrower of the football than Martinez. And if they started Howard, I think I have questions that they possibly could have came back, or it would have been more competitive already. I think that now that you have Max Duggan, you have Quentin Johnson, and you have a decent run game already with TCU, I agree 100% that points are going to be scored. So definitely take that over 66. But yeah, give me that 7.5, because it's that half that I really want.
Yeah, I think Texas actually wins the game. I just think that that's too many points for a team that has let so many teams come back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had the 14-point lead over Oklahoma State, in which they not only do they not cover, they lose the game outright. Yeah. They're beaten up on Kansas State last week, and thank God the spread was only 2.5, so they still covered. Like they are so hard to trust to just not blow games, and TCU has a lot to play for here.
Go back to the Iowa State game. Iowa State stinks. And Hutchinson is the wide receiver for Iowa State. If he catches that one ball on the 20-yard line that goes right through his hands, Iowa State might beat Texas when they were 16.5-point favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Iowa State.
And that was in Austin.
Yeah. Speaking of Iowa State, I like Baylor minus 2.5.
That was slick. Nice.
They're taking on the Cyclones this weekend at home. You're giving me 3 points with an offense that's really good. I know Iowa State's defense is rock solid, but I don't know. I was talking about Bijan Robinson. I mean, Craig Williams went off for 192 yards last week against Oklahoma. I think that Baylor's probably going to try and throw the ball a little bit more this week, but they still have a really solid run game. I'll take Baylor minus 2.5 at home against an Iowa State team that you just simply can't trust. I've trusted them a few times, and they've hurt me every single time. I'm going to take the Bears, who are playing their best football of the year right now, honestly. So yeah, I think we both took Syracuse plus 7.5, and we're both betting on the UNC Wake Forest game as well, right?
I did not take Cuse.
You did not take Cuse? Okay.
No.
Well, I will talk Syracuse real quick. This is the last time. I'm riding Syracuse. If they do not cover the 7.5, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. This is they have gone from being the Cinderella story to almost beating Clemson and then just faltering the last few weeks. You're giving me 7.5 points at home against Florida State. I will take Syracuse because I just think Sean Tucker can, run the ball. They can run the ball with him and just hang around at the very least. This Florida State team's really good, but I don't know. I think the Orange at home with a touchdown, I think they can hang around. So, yeah. So you want to go into – you have any thoughts, or should we go straight into UNC Wake Forest?
So, yeah, let's go into UNC Wake Forest. So you have over 78. We'll use that as our guide because
76, right?
early in the week got 76.5, and you're taking over 78. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a crazy
There better
one.
be points, damn it. There better be points.
Well, here's the thing. If there is points, North Carolina is expecting points. North Carolina knows its defense. North Carolina's had the worst defense in the ACC all year, and they have one loss. The only time that they were able to lose that game was when Notre Dame ran the ball, controlled the clock, and gave them limited possessions.
Yes.
Wake Forest isn't doing that. So not only give me the over of 76.5, because the last two times these two teams have played, it's been over 100. But also, I don't think you could outshoot the shooter. You can't shoot the shooter. I'll take Drake May. Give me North Carolina plus 160.
Yeah, no, I'm probably just gonna ride the over on this one. Maybe getting the prop games with the quarterbacks, because I do like Drake May and I do like Sam Hartman. But yeah, like you said, both the last couple games between these two schools have gone well over 100 points. Like, this is the one we should all enjoy tomorrow, right? Like, you just bet it and then just watch them go up and down the field scoring touchdowns against each other. So
just enjoy life.
Yeah, I think that we will see a lot of points, and I hate taking overs that have totals in the 70s. But if there's one I'm going to do it for, it's this one.
All you need is 11 touchdowns, Cody, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, I expect it to be close because neither team knows how to play defense. Either they don't know how to play defense or they just refuse to play defense.
I don't give a shit. I think that's Mac Brown's idea. Who gives a shit? Jack R. Say it in the comments, looking to go 2-0 in the locks of the year. Let's see if Sean rides this one. Let's go. LSU -4. All right, Jack R. That's the lock of the year. We're going to lock it up. We're going to fade Cody. And we're also getting another half a point as well. He's getting LSU -4. You got Arkansas plus 3.5. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, well, he also said IU basketball is dominating, so congratulations on beating like Bethune, but whatever. I can't even name the school. Bethune-Cookman. Congratulations.
Come on.
Did they cover?
The
I assume they
covered. Boy, yeah. All right, so let's take LSU -4. But yeah,
it'll be a good one. It'll be a good one.
Again, 11 touchdowns. That's all we need, Cody.
Yeah. We're big fans of points. Big fans of points on that one.
We love points. All right, Steven, how many did you go? Have you gone? How many you got left? Can you flash Cody's picks right now?
I think I went through all of them. Yeah.
Did you talk about your Syracuse one?
Yeah, briefly, but I mean, they're going up against Florida State and they're at home, 7.5-point dogs. They're due for a win here. They've faltered after having the Cinderella story at the start of the year. Florida State, I think they can be a little sus at times. I just think they hang around. We'll see.
All right. Yeah, I do think Florida State's bigger, faster, stronger, but we'll see. I mean, it is 7.5. All right, let's go to my picks. We'll wrap this up. Where did I leave off? Louisville plus 7.5 at -130. Louisville's pretty damn good. They lost Malik Cunningham, but ever since he's been back, they've been pretty impressive. And I don't know if Clemson's that impressive. I do think that Louisville's defense is slept on.
Yeah.
Malik Cunningham gives them the opportunity to win games. I think that Louisville's defense can keep them in games. Malik Cunningham gives them ability to win games. They were able to shut down a very, very good James Madison offense. They only scored 10 points. They were able to shut down that very, very good Wake Forest team that's going to do its share of scoring 100 points this Saturday. They only scored 21 and had 8 turnovers. Pittsburgh, again, that's going to be a bowl-eligible team. They only scored 10 points. They've been red hot. They've won 4 straight. You're giving me 7.5 against a bad quarterback? Let's go. Louisville plus 7.5. I'll give that cushion as well because, Clemson does some bullshit every now and then. So maybe they'll be able to, get a touchdown lead and hold that. But I'll take that half cushion there. App State money line at -115. Marshall has a fantastic defense, but App State has a balanced offense. And Marshall has a horrible defense. So as long as App State wins the field possession or the field position game, I really do think App State will win this game, and you're getting them at -115. I do think that it's kind of similar to the Wisconsin game. So maybe, I don't know why I'm barking at, you taking Wisconsin plus 100 when I'm taking App State money line at -115. So maybe I need to add Wisconsin plus 100 to my list. Maryland, Penn State under 57.5. I don't think that these teams are going to be able to score 7 touchdowns or 6. What was that? 8 is that? Ooh, math. 8 touchdowns.
Math is hard.
Maryland isn't going to be able to drive on Penn State's defense, and Maryland's got a low-key decent defense. I think that under 57 is the right play here. I don't think you're going to see a lot of points, probably a 24-20 game here in Happy Valley. Then Washington State team total over 34.5 at plus 100. Washington State just put up 50, and Washington State, I think, is going to be bowl eligible after this game, and I think they're going to go out and absolutely light up Arizona State, who isn't that good, doesn't have a great defense, and their offense is going to give them a lot of opportunities to score. And Stanford has a pretty decent defense, and they just dropped 52. So let's go Wazoo. Again, as I mentioned, North Carolina money line at plus 160, UNC Wake Forest over 76.5 at minus 105, and then Villanova minus 5 versus Temple tonight in college basketball, because why not? 14 picks, and you could add LSU minus 4.
So Louisville, I like it because Malik Cunningham is one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the country. I've been saying that since the beginning of the year, to be honest with you. Well, the only thing that scares me is like Clemson could easily, bounce back in a big way, but they looked really bad against Notre Dame. Like I didn't expect them to look that bad against Notre Dame, and I bet Notre Dame last week. I thought that game was at least going to be close. So we're gonna see. But yeah, Syracuse, they're at home, right? Syracuse, 7.5-point dogs at home against a Clemson team that kind of looks like they're in shambles.
No, Clemson's home team.
Oh, Clemson's the home team? Okay. Well,
yeah,
either way, touchdown in Death Valley, a Clemson team that honestly, like, no one has really believed in. They've probably been kind of overhyped all season. I think that Louisville can hang around with Malik Cunningham, just doing Malik Cunningham things. What was Maryland and Penn State? I actually really like that one too. I might ride that one with you just because.
Let's go.
I think time possession. Like if they hold on to the ball up, Penn State especially, and they just run. I think that clock is ticking. We'll get like a 10-13 game or something like that at halftime, and then ends up being like a 24-20 game at the very end. I see something like that. Don't bet on Maryland because they really disappointed me against Wisconsin last week. So that said, they might be due, but I will not bet on Maryland going into Happy Valley against a Penn State team that honestly, after you get past Ohio State and Michigan, they're probably right there as the next best Big Ten team. And that's coming from an Illinois fan. So don't say I'm a biased homer. Thank you.
You're not. How do you feel about Illinois this weekend?
Against Purdue? They go to Purdue, don't they? I don't know the weather conditions at this current moment. I have decided to not hit up my friend Greg Braggs and bet on this game.
It's in Champaign.
It's in Champaign again? Okay. I will say that Illinois, they should win. It's a big bounce back situation for them because they lost as a 15.5-point favorite against Michigan State. I can't believe Mel Tucker has given me more pain. But they're going. Their defense needs to, they got to bounce back after their performance against them, and they got to find a way to move the ball without just Chase Brown. They went to the fourth quarter last week with Chase Brown already having 30 carries. They got to be able to move the ball more than just with him. I know Tommy DeVito he's okay. He's a very solid quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback that Illinois has had since Juice Williams back when I was in high school.
Yikes!
That's saying something about Illinois football over the course of my life. But their defense, Purdue's had to go up against Iowa and Wisconsin's defense, and Illinois' defense all season has been better than theirs. So, maybe arguably Iowa's is as good as Illinois' because that game between those two teams was disgusting. I was there to watch it in person. The under maybe just because I think Illinois' defense could hold them, and maybe Illinois can, they should win the game. This is they have to play Michigan in 2 weeks. This is kind of a trap game in a way. But Illinois, they control their own destiny in the Big Ten West.
They got Northwestern after Purdue?
Yeah, or they got Northwestern after Michigan in 3 weeks.
Okay.
They need to win this game because there's they might hang around with Michigan. There's no way they're going to beat Michigan. And then they should handle Northwest. You never know. It's college football, right? But yeah, they need to win this game because then there's not as much pressure going into that Michigan game. They should they have the better defense, and they basically run the same They basically are another version of Iowa and Wisconsin, which Purdue has not done well. I don't know the weather conditions, but
I think it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be
clear.
cold.
It's gonna be cold. Yeah, it's just it's a normal Illinois day. I guess the only thing I would say, Cody, is you bring up that Michigan game against Illinois. Illinois has a bye next week. They could just focus on making sure they win. They could take their bye, and then they're going to play Michigan. And guess what? Michigan after that game's got Ohio State.
Trap game. The trap game.
And we might be hitting
whenever
up,
the spread comes
brags
out,
for them. Well,
when the spread comes out, I just want Illinois to cover it. Like I'm not getting up into talking myself Illinois can even win that game. If they cover against Michigan, I will be happy with that. So
personally,
they gotta beat Purdue. They should beat Purdue.
That's Cody. That's what he thinks. You can follow him and his thoughts on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. I'm Sean. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Personally, when I see those lines posted, and my glasses are all fucked up from my headphones here. When I see that money line posted, I will be hitting up Braggs to bet on Illinois money line. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
I love it.
You're
throwing away money, but
did you see that Big Ten social media post about they asked all the coaches what they would do if they weren't college football coaches, and Jim Harbaugh said lawnsman. And Pat Fitzgerald said high school teacher who would probably be coaching Friday Night Football. So Pat Fitzgerald would be a football coach if he wasn't a football coach. Jesus. Anyways,
just at a lower level. Okay.
Yeah. This is CHGO Bets Daily. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Jack R in the comments for hanging out with us. Michael Cooley as well. I know he stopped in.
Jack R, go watch yesterday's show. We talked about Colts. The Colts.
We did.
Yes.
I think they might win. And thank you, Stephen Nicholas, for producing the show. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend, and hopefully you have good luck on your bets. We'll talk to you when we are, in fact, millionaires.